we've got a new co-host. Step aside, Butch. Step aside, Anthony Smith. Tommy Two Legs, triumphant in the octagon once again. Tom, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for joining us, mate.
Hello there, Michael. Hello there, Anthony. Good evening. Yeah, just chilling. Nothing much, to be honest with you. What's going on?
Listen, mate. Let's just start with that. I mean, come on. You're out for a year. You break your leg. You had your ups and downs. We've talked about all that stuff. We won't dwell on the negatives. But you come back against Marcin Tybura, he was 7-1, I think, in his last day, against a lot of very good competition. You floated like a butterfly. You stung like a bee. You take him out of there in quick fashion. I mean, you're just showing off at this point, Tom.
Yeah. Well, I don't really want to get punched if I don't need to. You know what I mean? I'll do that all day if I can. Yeah. I mean, you know me, Mike, personally, and I'm not the kind of guy who goes around like bigging myself up if I don't need to. And I've been telling everyone that I felt better than ever. I did feel better than ever. Like, I felt great, and I knew that I was in a really, really good spot. Like, I had a great training camp. Everything was really, really good, and I think that just showed. Everything just really came together, and I just felt like I was levels above Tybura, and that's no disrespect to him. He's a really good guy. He's, like you say, he's won 7 of his last 8 in the rankings as well, which is pretty unheard of, especially at heavyweight. Like, the guy's really, really good. But I just feel like I'm going to be the champ one day, to be honest, and I'm just levels above guys like Tybura. And that's no disrespect to anybody. That's just literally how I feel about it.
Tom, how long did it take before you were moving around and because knee injuries are tough, man. They're really, really hard to come back from. How long did it take before you started feeling like yourself again?
Oh, it's a good question. I really took my time with it, I didn't rush it because it was the worst thing that ever happened to me, really, to be honest. I didn't want to risk that happening again. So I made sure that I give myself enough time. The UFC actually asked me to fight earlier. And to be honest with you, I probably could have fought like a few months earlier, but I just wanted to give myself enough time that I could come back and make sure that I was on good form. But I think before I started training like MMA properly, it was probably around 6 months after the surgery, I think. Like, I made sure that I did a full rehab program before I even thought about doing any MMA. But I started off really slowly, though, Anthony. It wasn't like I would start drilling, like I'd start off boxing drilling, which obviously doesn't really involve your legs too much. And then I would start doing some light grappling drills, and then I'd start going live from grappling situations. And I'd do it really, really slow. It wasn't like, I really didn't want to do it from like rehab process to full sparring straight away. I wanted to make sure that everything was really slow. I really took my time, and I'm really proud of myself the way that I did everything. And I'm really proud of the people that were around me as well, because the people held me back. Because I constantly want to push, you know what I mean? I'm a high-level athlete. I'm an elite-level athlete, and as you guys know, as elite-level athlete, sometimes we got to push through the pain. We got to push through the ego. Like, your ego takes over, and you just want to do things quick, and you're impatient, and you want to get back in there. But I'm actually really proud of the way that I displayed my patience and my confidence to take the time that I needed, and I'm really happy with the way everything went.
Tom, you should be happy and you should be proud. I mean, what you did was incredible, coming back from that leg injury. I mean, Anthony's been there. We've all had injuries, and we all know how hard it is, and you do go through dark times. So coming back, being as impressive as you was, as I say, you should be very proud. Now, you're standing here now, and I know you're supremely confident. You're saying you're going to become the champion. And that's not from an arrogant standpoint. And I said the same thing about Bo Nickel. When I was talking to Bo Nickel recently, he talks about himself in a certain way. And it's not because he's being arrogant. It's because he has belief, or he has the knowledge of how good he is because of all the years of wrestling at the absolute highest level. He's like, I know what I can do to the average human being. You know what I mean? So it's coming from a place of still humility, but just realization. Is that I'd be lying to myself and lying to everyone else if I didn't say I can't go out there and beat most guys. You know what I'm saying? So you have that kind of self-belief. You were always in the past saying, I'm going to take it easy. I'm going to take it slow. Now you're talking about becoming a champion. You're talking about how good you are from not from a cocky standpoint, as I said. When did that switch come? Because we're going to get to Jon Jones in a bit, and whether or not you can hold a goddamn candle to him. Let's not go there yet. But when did this mindset change, Tommy T? Tommy turntables, Tommy two legs.
What you need to stop with that, like you need to stop with it. I think when I was injured, to be honest, I think it was a very, 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 very miserable time for me. But I think that when your back is against the wall, you've got decisions to make, mate. You got a lot of decisions to make, and the decision that I made. Sorry, I had a dilemma. It's like, am I going to be half in with this thing, or am I really going to start to believe in myself? And because I think before I was like, I don't know, I wasn't fully. I always had the skill set and stuff, but I'm not sure that I had the mindset, to be honest. I was always like half in, and I didn't want to be fully in case I failed. As weird as that sounds, I would always hold myself back a little bit. I would always not do the right training camps. I would always not have the right diet. I would always not take the right rest. And that's probably when I had the time to think about it properly, which I didn't really have before when I was injured. Like, I had time to really think, why do I not apply myself fully? And I think the reason is that I always kind of wanted, it's a weak mindset to have. But I think I always kind of wanted an excuse to say, oh, well, if I lost, I didn't train hard enough. I didn't diet properly. I didn't rest properly. You keep coming up with all these excuses for yourself. And I wanted to put that completely out the window. I wanted to go all in with this thing. And I really, really convinced myself that I am one of the best heavyweights to ever do this. And I'm really all in with it. Like, right now, my whole life is geared towards me being the heavyweight champion of the world. Everything. Every little detail of my life is geared toward that. And that's the way it should be. And I'm not afraid. It sounds kind of corny. I don't know. Maybe it's more of an American thing to say. I don't know. But, like, I really, accept greatness in my life now. And that's
Bro,
something
you've
that
changed. I'm so cheesy and American these days. Hollywood Tom Aspinall.
You know, when someone says I've changed, that's actually a massive compliment, because I'm fucking right, I've changed.
Yeah,
fucking right, I've changed. Exactly. And I really believe in myself now, and I'm really doing everything that I can. And you know what? If it doesn't work out, at least I can say that I fucking give it my best go. At least I can say that I've gone all in, both feet are in, and I'm doing everything that I can to, and I'm happy with that. Like I say, I'm not the kind of person who blows my own trumpet. I'm not the kind of person who says, oh, I'm proud of myself, but I really am proud of myself for where I am right now in my career and where I am in my life and what I've done. And moving forward, I'm really happy with everything and the way everything's turned out, to be honest.
Man, that's a mental journey that a lot of people don't get to. A lot of people don't get to experience that and lose it and then figure it out and come back the way that you did. Tell me about the worst, darkest moment, because we've all three of us have had them where it could be anywhere. Sometimes I've had them when I've been driving, and I'm listening to something and I just, I'm just losing my shit, and you just find yourself driving down the road crying or whatever. You're laying in bed or what was that moment like, or when was it? Was it before surgery or after? And just where was your head at?
I remember the moment specifically. I remember it so well. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was over a year ago now, but I remember it really well. So after my fight with Blades, I planned to go on a holiday, a vacation. I was going to go and travel around Poland a little bit. I was going to go and see some family in Poland, stay in some different places. And I was going to stay there for the full summer. I was going to stay there for 5 weeks. And obviously I blew my knee out, couldn't go on the trip. And in the time that I was going to be in Poland, I was going to have, I was having some construction work done on my house. So I had 20, 30 guys in doing the construction work. And obviously the guys were still booked to come and do the construction work. And I remember I was a few days out of surgery. My wife had gone out somewhere. I was in with the 3 kids. My leg was really, really swollen, massive, swollen, really painful after surgery. I couldn't walk. It was really hot. And there was 30 guys in my house doing construction. And I remember just sat there. It was noisy. I felt like shit. I was really depressed. And I remember just sitting there thinking, oh, what? I was supposed to be on holiday now, visiting all these different places that I'd never been before, celebrating a win. And I'm sat here with this big swollen leg, 30 random guys in my house and 3 bored children. who should be on holiday as well. Like, he was just awful. Like, it was just one of the most depressing moments, honestly, of my whole life. It was just absolutely
Sounds
awful.
like you got that main event money, though. 30 guys in the house working on the Tommy Turntables homestead. You know what I mean? You could look at the positives. Now, I got the real question for you, Tom. Can Jon Jones hold a candle to you?
What does that mean? Hold a candle to?
I Googled it. I Googled it recently because I didn't even know. And it comes from the olden days where they had apprentices, and the apprentice would hold a candle for the workmen. If it was dark or they were underground or whatever, they didn't have lamps, they would hold a candle. It's like, he's not even good enough to hold a candle for this guy. Anyway, whatever. Talk to me about the Jon Jones fight. Come on.
Well, I want it. I obviously want the fight. That's a dream fight for me. I'm pushing for it. And I kept saying in the media building up to this fight, like, moving forward in my career, I've got 2 goals. Well, three goals, obviously. But, like, most important thing is that I win my fights. That's the most important. Like, I'm a winner, and I want to win my fights. That's the most important thing. The second thing is, obviously, I want to become heavyweight champion of the world. Another one of our goals, the third thing is I want to excite Jon Jones. I want to give him a reason to stick around and be like, this is the guy that I need to stick around for. And that's what I really want, is I want to excite him, because I'm not even sure if he knew that I existed before my last fight. I don't even know. I don't know him personally or anything like that. I don't know. But, like, he is an absolute dream fight for me. And yeah, I want to fight Jon Jones, but I think I matched really well with him, you know. I'm bigger than him. I'm faster than him. You know, I know he's fought a lot of fast guys before at light heavyweight, but he's never fought someone faster than a light heavyweight who's bigger than him. I'm fresh. I've not got a million miles on the clock like a lot of these guys who he's fought. I'm mega confident. And I just think I match up really well with him, you know. I don't think he's fought anybody like me. I know he's fought so many legends before. I'm not discrediting his resume at all. He's fought so many amazing guys, but I just feel like I'm completely different to anyone who's fought before, and I feel like I could beat him.
Well, this is, you know, Anthony did 5 rounds with Mr. Jones. Yep, the floor is yours, Mr. Smith. I will shut up now.
But I think you bring up an interesting point that I didn't even consider. Like, obviously, we've been talking about you versus Jon Jones for a while. And one of the biggest problems I had with Jon Jones was his size. He was so big, and he was just hard to get to, you know, but I wasn't fast enough to close the distance. I was definitely faster than him, but I wasn't fast enough to close the gap of the range and stuff. But I guess I never considered that you're going to be faster and bigger, which is something he hasn't experienced. You know what I mean? Like, even Cyril Gane, listen, with no disrespect to Cyril Gane, but he's kind of a one-trick pony. You know, his one trick is very, very good, but there's really no holes. There's nowhere that he can really exploit with you.
I mean, heavyweight MMA comes with its own rules almost. Heavyweight MMA, like, it's so wild and unpredictable. So I'm not saying, you know, anybody can beat anybody at any time in MMA in general, but especially in heavyweight MMA. But yeah, that's something that I definitely see. Is he's definitely fought a lot of fast guys before, and now obviously he's fighting big guys like Cyril Gane at heavyweight. But as he's never fought somebody who's both a lot faster than him and bigger than him before. Because, like you say, a lot of the light heavyweight guys he fought, if you look at his resume, I know obviously you're a legit light heavyweight, but a lot of the guys are middleweights. A lot of them guys are former middleweights moving up. And
he was a heavyweight sucking himself down.
Mate, yeah, mate, I'm 6'5", 260 plus pounds,
Jesus,
10% body fat. Like, I'm a natural heavyweight.
Jesus, Tom, relax. You flexing that bicep on the camera the whole time. Just turn it in. Turn it in, bro. Listen, no, I'm sorry. And not to mention, Tom, and this is what I talk about to a lot of people, and sorry to hijack and interrupt and save it in the comment section, you pricks. You were teaching grown men jiu-jitsu at 16 years old. When you're out there, we've seen you take people down and choke them out. We saw you kickboxing at the highest level against Marcin Tybura, looking lightning fast, powerful, and deadly. And when I said those things, And it's not just because we're mates, and I have tremendous admiration for you and respect, Tom. I have tremendous admiration and respect for Jon Jones' career. I mean, it is ridiculously successful. What I meant, and I'll be honest, I was trying to help you out in terms of matchmaking as well. Do you know what I'm trying to? I want to see that fight happen. I think that could be one of the biggest heavyweight fights to ever happen, because you are earning it. You're going through people. You're making it look easy. But I don't think he's somebody your size with a complete skill set. He's fought guys with complete skill sets, but you're going to physically dominate him in every area. Now, obviously, Jon Jones is a ridiculously high fight IQ, ridiculously experienced, still doing it at the toppest level, still going out there in record time. There's no disrespect for me towards Jon Jones in terms of his fight career, none whatsoever. But I truly do believe that for all those reasons I just said, maybe he does have his hands full.
He's got his hands full, mate. Definitely. I think it's really interesting. Whether he's going to stick around or not, I don't know. Who knows? I know there's a lot of talk about a possible double retirement now with him and Stipe in the November at Madison Square Garden. Who knows, mate? I don't know Jon personally. I don't know any of his team or anything like that. I don't know where he's at, but I would absolutely love that fight. Like, if I get a chance, mate, to fight one of the best ever, that's just what dreams are made of for someone like me. Never mind, like, it's heavyweight MMA, mate. It takes one shot. I'm a very, very quick and powerful guy, and it takes one. So I've definitely got a chance. All skill set aside, it takes one shot. And now, if we bring skill set into it, like you say, mate, I've been grappling since I was 8 years old. I'm 30 years old now. It's not like, you know, a lot of guys talk about all UK wrestling and all that, and it doesn't exist. But mate, I've been grappling since I was 8 years old. I'm from a family line of grapplers, wrestling and jiu-jitsu. Like, it's ridiculous.
No man alive.
I don't know.
No man alive can take my son.
What do you think about Tyson Fury against Ngannou, by the way, going off topic?
Well, what do you think? Because you've trained and sparred many, many times with Tyson Fury. What do you think, Tom? That's the real question.
I think you got the best opinion here.
Well, I'm actually going to help Tyson.
Oh, what a traitor.
Whoa, I have no loyalties to Francis Ngannou. I've got loyalties.
What's your problem with the Predator?
No, I don't know him. That's the problem.
Yeah, exactly. I've never met him, for one.
I've actually never met him. I'm not even joking. Never met him. I think, obviously, Ngannou's got a puncher's chance, obviously. He's one of the hardest punchers to ever compete in combat sports. But that's about all he's got, to be honest. I think that...
We agree.
that's about all he's got. And I'm not saying... If Francis Ngannou got out Tyson Fury, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm not saying that it can't happen. It definitely can happen. But if we're talking about skill sets, Tyson Fury's like universe close in terms of skill sets. So would I be surprised if Ngannou landed one and knocked him out? No, I wouldn't be surprised, to be honest. He's one of the hardest punchers ever. But Tyson Fury is ridiculous in terms of boxing skill. Absolutely ridiculous. You've never seen anything like it. He's unbelievable.
And of course, he's got Uncle Mike Tyson helping him out now as well. That's going to help him out significantly. But the question I want to know...
Hold on, let me jump in real quick, Mike.
Hold on. You versus Tyson Fury, Tom. You versus Tyson Fury. How does that go down?
In a boxing fight?
Yeah.
No chance, mate. Absolutely no chance. I'm not going to... You see, I see a lot of MMA fighters.
And that's really humble of you, Tom.
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a lot of MMA fighters, mate, and like me personally, I've sparred a lot of high-level boxers. Like, I've sparred Tyson Fury loads, Hughie Fury, Joe Joyce, Daniel Dubois. Like, that's just to name a few off the top of my head. They were like world-level professional heavyweight boxers. And I see a lot of MMA fighters like, oh yeah, I'll jump over and I'll beat these boxers. And obviously boxing, there is an element of boxing in our sport, an element of punching in our sport. But until you spar a high-level professional boxer over 12 rounds, you'll then realise that it's completely different sport. Like, the efficiency of a boxer over 12 rounds is way different to the energy efficiency of an MMA fighter fighting 3 fights. Like these guys who are thinking about coming out and saying, "Oh, I'll switch over to boxing and I'll be a world champion." They need to do some high-level sparring with high-level boxers, because then they'll really like. If I was going to switch over to boxing and have a chance at fighting at a world level, I need to spar boxers only for at least a year, before I even think about jumping in and fighting some of the best guys in the world.
You know, I try to tell people that all the time, because I've had some not even world-class boxers, and maybe I'm making myself look stupid, but I've had some like middle of the road, guys that are 12-2, 15-2, just like pretty good boxers, but like they're not world champions, beat the absolute fuck out of me. And it's just different. It's nothing like the type of boxing that we do for MMA, which is why my next question was, I've always said that I thought that Tyson Fury has already faced the probably the hardest puncher we've ever seen in Deontay Wilder. But then I always get people saying like, no, Francis is a way harder puncher. But I don't think so. I think that Deontay's I think he's just a different type of puncher because he's used to punching like that. I was just wondering what your opinion was.
Well, if you want an inside breakdown from sparring, see, someone like Tyson who's been boxing all the life, or any boxer who's been boxing for like most of their life, a lot of boxers fight very similar. They go double jab right hand, they go 1-2 left hook, stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's not too dissimilar, especially if you come through the amateur circuit and you go Olympic route and all that kind of stuff. A lot of these guys have very, very, very similar styles. Now, when you throw someone in, like a Deontay Wilder, like a Francis Ngannou, who's throwing looping shots and uppercuts and doing all kinds of unorthodox stuff, the boxers aren't as used to it as they would. Like, for example, if Tyson Fury boxed Anthony Joshua, it would be the easiest fight ever for him, mate. The easiest fight ever, because he's so basic. Mm-hmm. He's going 1-2, he's going double jab, he's going left hook, right hand, he's going 1-2 left hook, basic combinations. Whereas if he's fighting someone like a Wilder who's just throwing a big looping right hook randomly, like it's going to be much harder for someone who's a bit more unorthodox. Like it's much harder for a traditional boxer to fight someone more unorthodox. So I can see Francis bringing a few more problems than somebody like an Anthony Joshua would to Tyson Fury. But Tyson knows this. He's smart. That's why he's trying to get guys like me. He's been asking me if I know any more big MMA fighters who can come in and do unorthodox stuff, because it's pointless Tyson sparring boxers who are going to do the normal stuff with him. Like
it's a waste of time.
It's absolute waste of time. He needs to get guys that are going to come in ready for a scrap, ready for winging some wild shots that he's not used to, and play it that way, as opposed to, it's pointless in getting like a national champion boxer in, because Ngannou's nothing like that. He's going to do wild stuff that he's not used to.
Well, they don't conform to the rules. You know what I mean? There's a certain set of unwritten rules that boxers oblige by, and even mixed martial artists as well. You know what I mean? We kind of expect certain patterns in the striking, a certain shot to follow certain shots. You know what I mean? And it's the same in the boxing world. That's why what you're talking about, to a lesser degree, it's like when you spar an absolute novice, a complete beginner, and they end up hitting you with the most ridiculous, stupid shot. It's like they don't even know what they're doing. So how am I supposed to make a read on what they're doing? You know what I mean? Right. And it's not the same comparison, but that's kind of, I think that illustrates a little further your point. And I think, it's a really good point. Tom, we won't keep you too much longer. Thank you for your time, mate, because I know you're a media darling these days. You're doing the rounds, I feel like we discovered you. I think we're the Believe in Me podcast. We take the full credit for all your success. Never mind your father, Andy. You know what I mean? It's coming on here, this platform. That's why you're going to get the Jon Jones fight. That's why you're going to be a multi-millionaire. Hold on that.
Okay.
Have you allowed your brain to go there, being a multi-millionaire?
Yes. I've allowed my brain to go there.
Yeah.
He wanted to lie.
It seems pretty good. I'm not going to lie. In my mind, it seems pretty good. You know what, though? I got all this for my last fight. I've got, in my 7 UFC fights, I've got 5 bonuses. It's a lot of money. Like that money adds up. That money adds up. I've still not bought anything. Like I'm not like a bougie guy. I don't know what to buy with it. Do you know what I mean? I get questions all the time. Oh, you gonna buy?
Rocking round in a Range
know.
Rover, you lying bastard.
Yeah, I've got a Range Rover. Yeah. What else am I going? What else am I going to get?
Jesus Christ. He said he's acting like he's driving around in like a Dodge Pinto or something.
Yeah,
Listen,
I know.
That's a sponsored Range Rover. I don't pay full price for it. I don't even pay full price.
I'm joking, mate. I'm joking. I'm happy for you.
My last question, man. I can't let you go without asking. Would you be upset if Stipe Miocic beats Jon Jones, and then it's you versus Stipe instead of maybe trying to be the first one to knock off Jon Jones? Because that's still a pretty big deal too.
It's definitely a big deal. I fucking love Stipe. The only issue that I've got with Stipe, I mean, it's not an issue. As I keep saying, like, you never know what's going to happen in heavyweight MMA. It's just wild. So if Stipe come out and flatlined him, I also wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But Stipe is now, correct me if I'm wrong, he's like 42 years old or something like that.
Right.
He's been inactive for like 2-3 years. He's got a lot of miles on the clock. He's up against it. He's up against it big time. But if he did pull it off, fair play, like, I would love that fight as well. But I don't know. I feel like I've maybe got one more to go before I get in the title picture. I think I've maybe got a number one contender fight to go before that. So I know there's Sergey Pavlovich is flying around. I think he's trying to wait. I think they're going to bring him in as a backup fighter, I've heard.
That's a big, scary dude.
He's a big, scary dude, definitely.
Does he make you nervous? Himself. Does he make you as nervous as he makes me?
Mate, they all make me nervous, but especially...
Well, I don't even like standing near him. He makes me uncomfortable. He's just big and scary looking.
He's quite a nice man, you know. Yeah, I quite like him.
He was asking me for a picture after the last UFC London. I was in an elevator, just me and him, and I shit my pants. I'm like, oh God. And he was like, picture. I'm like, yeah, sure. Just don't knock me out. Tom, a couple of quick questions for you. The first real question. There's talk that come Madison Square Garden in November that Stipe retires after this and that Jon Jones retires after this as well. There's been, that's a rumor circulating, floating around. How do you feel if those two guys both walk away from the sport and you never get to fight either of them? Or do you give a damn?
To be honest, it would be great to fight both of them, especially Jon Jones, because I've nothing against Jon, but everyone's saying he's the GOAT now because he's won titles at both divisions. And in my opinion, Stipe is the heavyweight GOAT. Well, they're saying that Jon Jones is the GOAT overall. So if he's that, obviously I want to, if I can beat that guy, that'll be awesome. But my ultimate goal, mate, since day one in this thing, is I want to be UFC heavyweight champion. And that doesn't really matter, like, who I take it off or who I fight for it. It doesn't really matter. Like, if I could fight them, that'd be amazing. Like, that, they're just bonuses for me. But ultimately, I'm trying to be UFC heavyweight champion of the world. So, who the opponent is quite irrelevant, I guess. But it would be nice to fight him for sure.
Right, final question, bit of a silly one here. I went to Twitter and I said, look, listen, we've got Tom Aspinall joining us. We've also got Dustin Jacoby joining. Questions for them. So the house cat who watches MMA, I don't know if you follow this guy on Twitter. He just posts pictures of cats and pretends that the cat is asking questions all the time. And it's very comical, to be honest. He says this, and what is the wildest thing you've seen go down at a Wetherspoons? and for those people that don't know, Wetherspoons is a chain, Anthony, of pubs in England. You know what I mean? Where it gets a bit rowdy. So
crazy.
What's the wildest thing you've seen go down at a Wetherspoons?
That's an easy one for me. I can tell you about this. So I used to work the door, right? Well, I used to work on a really nice bar. And I was the shittest doorman ever. I never did anything. I didn't do it unless people were like throwing punches at each other. I wouldn't do anything. I was the worst. But next door was the Wetherspoons, and the doorman had gone inside for a while in the Wetherspoons. Usually, if a doorman's going inside, it means obviously kicking off. Like, people are fighting in there, and if they're in there for a while, it's not going to be quick. Like, people are getting hurt. There's stuff going on. And me and my colleague were stood at the front of our bar, and we've seen the doorman from Spoons run inside. So we just left it, and like a few minutes went by, and we're like, fucking hell, no one's no one's coming out. We're going to have to go inside and see what's going on. Even though it's not our bar, like, that's what we do sometimes.
Heroes.
Yeah, heroes. See, we'd help each other out, you know what I mean? So we ran it. As we ran it, a guy is biting another guy's nose off. And then he went to spit it out. As he was going to spit it out, his friend said, don't spit it out because he'll be able to sew it back on. So the guy had swallowed his nose.
Oh my
Don't spit it out because he might be able to sew it back up. We've got this bastard running around with no nose. Swallow it.
That's a true story. Well, I couldn't make that. I couldn't make that up. That's a true story. That's a true story.
Don't spit it out.
Yep.
But so then what happened?
He swallowed it.
The guy's got no nose, just like a piece of cartilage or bone.
I've never seen him since. I don't know. I've no idea. No idea. This is like 10. Probably coming up to about 10 years ago. Yeah, I don't know.
Tommy Two Legs and Norman No Nose. Oh my God. Oh, brilliant. Oh, that's brilliant. That's fantastic. Thank you to the house cat who watches MMA because I almost had a heart attack. Tom, we're going to let you go. Mate, love you, brother. I'm so proud of what you're doing. I really am. Honestly, you and your father and the whole team, you're doing an incredible job. You're representing British mixed martial arts and the sport of mixed martial arts in general at the highest level. You're an absolute class act. You're a monster inside the octagon. You're a sweet guy. Proud to call you a friend. I'm sure Anthony feels the same way. Mate, all the best to you and your father and everyone. Good luck at everything you're doing, and we'll talk soon, man.
Thanks, boys. I'm not even going to try and come back from that, but I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
Take care, man.
Come on, get out of here.